You're listening to the Decentralized Talk Podcast, your crypto connection.
Decentralized Talk. Decentralized Talk.
All right. Crypto Nation, welcome to another outstanding episode of the Decentralized Talk Podcast. This is our 21st weekly show now in production, 21st century. It's our 21st show. It's got to be some kind of coordination there. I don't know what it is.
It's fate, man. It's fate. This episode is fate.
Fate, destiny, new names of strippers.
This episode was meant to be, you know? After 18, 19, 20, I wasn't really sure, but this one is meant to be.
Yeah, a lot of people said we couldn't get to 21. A lot of people said we couldn't get to 21, but here we are.
So many people said that.
So many people said.
I don't know why they picked 21, but...
it's like I was going to say quinceañera, but that's 15. So.
It's a good try.
15 was big, though.
Oh, 15 was huge.
Our quinceañera was stellar.
We had it popping.
Point is, we're going to flip your decentralized lids today.
Yeah, we are. Damn right we are.
Like, we got notable picks, like 3-on-3 the fast break, a 3-on-3 fast break, coins are about to blow your decentralized lids. We got BitKey, we got Chrono Bank, and we're talking Ion. All coins in the sub 300 level market cap. We're going to do a deep dive coin review into Lisk. We're going leaps and bounds now. We're truly a global phenomenon. Finally, we have grown leaps and bounds in South America. In Europe, we are on now every single continent except Antarctica. Antarctica, get the fuck up. Get with the program. I don't know what you guys are doing over there.
There's like 8 people in Antarctica.
We need
Every
one.
one of them should be listening to the episode.
Definitely. They're real decentralized over there, I heard.
Yes, highly decentralized
You know
in
that-
Antarctica.
In Antarctica,
Yes.
if you were to have a baby, or all the countries, obviously came together to decide that nobody can have a baby in Antarctica, because if that were to happen, that child would own the continent, because nobody owns Antarctica. But again, I don't know, like world law is, if a kid's born there, then they own that land or are a citizen of that country or continent. So since no one has rights to Antarctica, if a child were to be born on the continent, then they would technically have rights to it. So like if somebody's there on a research project and they become pregnant, they have to get them off before they have a child.
Oh, I think they were getting off long before they got on the island if they were pregnant.
This is true. I don't know how true that is. I feel like I saw that somewhere. I might have just made that shit up.
It sounded good.
Well,
Yeah, sounds right. So basically, get somebody pregnant on Antarctica, and then you will own Antarctica.
Yeah, don't tell me about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Guys, this is not our investing advice. It's just our opinions. Do your own research when investing in cryptocurrency. We're going to talk today about the cream of the crop.
Well, I'll tell you what this is, though. This is advice on land ownership.
This is not a cryptocurrency podcast anymore. This is a real estate investment trust.
In Antarctica.
Loopholes into land ownership in Antarctica.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, have a baby there.
Discreetly.
Top coins rising to the top. Why are the top coins rising to the top? So we'll talk about broad categories. We got privacy coins, smart contract coins, store of value coins, small transaction coins. So top privacy coins: Nav, Verge, Linda, Monero, Zcash, Dash, Pivx, Cloak, Enigma, Deep Onion. Give me a little spot. Give me a little spot on these. Tell me what's up with the privacy coins.
I mean, I think we've discussed this in a few podcasts in the past. we all kind of feel like there's going to be a few coins that are going to come to the top in each category. These are just kind of the base categories that we wanted to discuss, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like lately coins like Linda, at the risk of being like the Linda pumper guy, which is not my
It's
thing.
too late for that.
Zen fan. So there are coins right now that are making moves to consolidate in that space. So Linda, for instance, it's a privacy coin. It's also developing a smart contract portion. It is already a store of value, and it certainly could be used as a small transaction. And I think more and more coins. I think last year, the big thing was what category do you fall into? Is it privacy, is it smart contract, store of value, is it small transaction coin? But this year, I'm noticing more of a consolidation of which coins can have the most assets, the most features, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these coins are going to fall into multiple categories, but I think what we're trying to do here is just name what we think for that coin, their main focus, what we think for that category, what is the, one that's going to rise to the top, cream of the crop.
Because a lot of these coins are going to fit into multiple categories, but they're going to kind of be a little heavier lean more towards one category. Like Monero, I mean, you could make the case for it being, a store of value, small transaction coin, but it's primarily a privacy coin. I mean, It's got one of the better privacy protocols, as where, I don't know, I'm trying to think of another example here.
Dash.
Well, Dash is actually pretty similar to Monero in that case. But yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
All right, so let's take the first category. What's the first category?
Privacy coins.
Oh, privacy coins. For me, it's hands down Monero. There's a ton of privacy coins out there, but I think Monero, with its simple to understand ring signatures and stealth addresses, like a lot of privacy coins use those, but Monero, I think it's the adoption that sets it apart. It's just more people are using Monero, and it helps that everybody is mining Monero, and it's so easily mined that it can be mined in the background of somebody's computer without them knowing. Like, that's going to keep it afloat. So yeah, I think in the next few years, as far as the privacy coin market, I think Monero is going to keep its first place.
Using Monero, how many people are just mining the shit out of it on other people's?
From what I've heard on the dark web and stuff, a lot of people are using Monero.
Yeah, me and Hesto, me and Prada read an article about 2 months ago that said that was it Bitcoin was still the number one coin?
I heard that too. Yeah, I heard that too.
Which leads me to believe that the government comes out and they say, oh yeah, well, we can really track you down even if you use Bitcoin. We can figure out who you are. I wonder if they can.
They can't with Monero.
Well, I wonder how they would do it with Bitcoin. I mean, I know they've said how they would do it, but I don't know that that's applicable in all situations. I don't know that everybody would give up that much information if you were doing it in a privacy browser and you had your Bitcoin on an encrypted network. I just don't understand how they would ever know who you are.
Okay, so
when
what?
You pull it out is when they get you.
If you just use your Bitcoin and moved it into Monero, and then you pulled your Monero out and then you transact.
Well, it's the transactions that are. So the ring signatures are a transaction feature, along with the ring confidentiality transactions and stealth addresses. Monero just has a multitude of features to make it more difficult to find you, as where a lot of the other ones, might only have one feature, or It's not that it's not difficult to figure it out with Bitcoin. It's that it's even more difficult to figure it out with Monero. Like if somebody's really wanted to spend the time, I bet they could probably figure it out eventually with Monero, but it might take you 30 years, as where if you really wanted to figure it out with Bitcoin, it's probably not going to take quite that long, especially if you go through the whole transaction process and pull your money out into fiat currency. Yeah.
So you
makes
used
sense?
Deep Onion recently. What's the big advantages of Deep Onion over Monero? So far it looks like everybody's says in terms of privacy coins, cream of the crop. We're talking Monero.
I like Monero. I prefer, or I don't know that I prefer. I also like Dash though, just because they have a lot of backing. I don't know about backing, but a lot of partnerships and whatnot. And I don't know. You see it everywhere. You see it, a lot of MMA supporters, and they have a really good marketing team, and they've got a pretty solid privacy coin too.
I'm picking Linda. Honestly, I'm picking Linda because I think that it's a sleeper coin, and I don't give a fuck. I see you guys cheesing there. I do like with Linda, you can layer your privacy like you can do with the kind of concept or Monero, where you can do your transactions in a Tor browser. That's going to give you the ultimate privacy. But the cool thing about Linda is that you don't have to use that. So if you want to just be on their publicly accessed blockchain, you can do it. But from the Linda interview that we had, they said that basically when you're doing the Tor setup in the most secure way to purchase Linda, there is not even a receipt of the transaction. It literally is just absolutely burned. And just if you're gonna
of the privacy coins that are gonna make it the cream of the crop, you're picking Linda.
Yeah, I'm picking Linda. Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. What's next?
I'm picking Dash. I want to say real quick.
I picked Post Malone like 2 years ago. You guys remember that at the golf outing? Remember when we had the golf tournament? And I kept making you guys listen to Post Malone? And you guys are like, who the fuck is this guy?
I don't remember that.
Exactly.
I don't remember.
A lot of drinking going on there.
And now that motherfucker is.
Who's Post Malone?
This is a bad sign.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's probably one of the top.
I've heard of Post Malone. I'm just kidding. I did want to say real quick about Verge too, though. They're getting a lot of publicity right now, even though some of it's bad. Actually, a lot of it is bad, but they also have a lot of partnerships and big partnerships. So that's just an interesting one to kind of look at. I'm not a huge fan of Verge, but
all right.
Smart contract coins.
Ethereum. I mean,
it's tough to go against Ethereum, but I like Neo. I think Neo is the way to go. Just because
Neo's got hit so hard lately. What's wrong with Neo?
Well, I don't know, but I feel like just the fact that they use multiple coding languages, I just feel like that's gonna eventually take over the other ones, because when you're a business and you want to integrate smart contracts into your business blockchain, you got to hire somebody that knows Solidity. And I mean, those people are not going to come cheap when, they're already not cheap. So it's like, why hire somebody that has to know Solidity when you could hire somebody that knows JavaScript or Python or whatever? I don't know. I just feel like that's just such an advantage for Neo. And Cardano also does that a little bit too.
So does EOS.
Yeah, and Lisk uses JavaScript. So I just feel like Ethereum, it's gonna fall behind. I just think it's gonna fall behind, honestly. But not anytime soon, really. But we're talking cream of the crop here, and I think that's Neo.
I'm going full Ethereum. I think Ethereum has a larger presence right now than even Bitcoin, and that's just an incredible statement. And so, it's hard to beat that, man. It's hard to beat that when people talk about cryptocurrency. People use the word cryptocurrency synonymously with Bitcoin. Immediately, when you get 10 seconds deep into understanding the difference between Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, the first thing you come across is Ethereum, and almost the entire network runs on Ethereum. So
that's true. It's really popular, but
There's
I mean,
so many dApps already on it.
yeah,
true. I agree with that too. But for me, I just feel like Ethereum is more like the Pets.com or the Napster. You know, it's one of the first ones. It's the first one to successfully do dApps and smart contracts and be successful at it. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be the cream of the crop. That doesn't mean it's going to end up being the best. It's not the Netflix, you know?
Napster still made a fucking $1 billion.
True, but it's not around 20 years later. I mean, I guess it probably is. But I'm talking about the Googles, the Netflix, you know, the Apples, not the ones that were successful for a little bit.
Yahoos.
I feel like
not the Circuit City.
And Cardano are like Winamp.
Honestly, though, I'm a big fan
What's the
of
llama's
Stellar.
ass? You're a big.
I said
I
you
like
were-
Stellar too. Yeah, I like Stellar too.
but I am a huge Stellar fan. They've already, you know, Ethereum's had to put into place the sharding and the all that, you know, to try to get to where they can handle the transaction. Stellar's pretty much already there, you know, and it's been around for a while. They have some dApps on their platform. I think that's going to be my pick only because you picked Ethereum, Tater, so I don't want to double up on that one. So I'm going to move over to Stellar. I do personally own a few Stellar, but yeah, I like the coin. I like the project. I think they got a good chance. How do y'all feel about Cardano as being the...
I own. It's funny. I picked Ethereum, but I own a lot more Cardano than I do Ethereum.
Oh, well, yeah. If you owned a lot more Ethereum than you did Cardano, you might be retired right now.
Well, you know, with Cardano, like, I bought it good and low, and I bought a bunch of it. But it just had such a terrible ride down, and so many people I know had a terrible experience with Cardano, buying basically anywhere.
Catching the falling knife. I mean, I know I did. I've been buying it for a little while now, and it's just, yeah, it's just not doing much.
Well, just imagine how terrible it would be if you were to, like, I don't know, DCA Cardano.
For years?
For the year.
For a year? Yeah.
Yeah. You're laughing now.
But I mean, one thing I will say for Cardano is they're consistently in the news. They're doing stuff. They're working. I mean, I recently saw something, and by recently I mean in the last couple of months, where they were starting a partnership with Ethiopia or something like that to do some farming and blockchain farming or something to that effect. So maybe
That's my
Yeah, no, Cardano does work.
News
The team does not quit. They are constantly working. So yeah, the market cap hasn't really been reflecting that, but I think Cardano is going to be just fine. But of course, I'm going to say that I have a shit ton of it. I think Cardano will be fine. I don't know if it's going to be the end all, but I think they're gonna be just fine. They got a really good team.
Look, burger restaurants are like anybody can make a hamburger, but you got McDonald's, you have Burger King, you have even Dairy Queen has burgers, and Five Guys burgers. Just Five Guys is a phenomenon of the last decade. You know what I mean? As long as McDonald's has been around, as long as was it Ray Kroc? Is it Ray Kroc? No, Kroc. Anyways, as long as McDonald's has been around. Absolutely making the process by which you order a hamburger and get it to you as quickly and efficiently and exactly the same as possible, replicating that process over and over and over, they're still plenty of other restaurants that make millions and millions of dollars globally selling hamburgers. So I don't always. I mean, I don't just want to give the impression to anybody that we're saying because it's the cream of the crop that we think it's going to be the only one out there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, Neo, whatever, EOS, NIM.
I look at it more like operating systems. Like, you know, I see it differently than the burger analogy you just gave. But so there's multiple different operating systems for your computer out there. But the majority of people are going to use one of 3 operating systems. There's, you know, I don't know exactly how many there are out there, but I'd bet there's 10 plus if you got down to it. But 99% of people in the world are going to use Windows, Apple, or Linux. Yeah. You know, there's 1% that might use, you know, I don't know what, I can't think of anything else. But, you know, there's going to be those main few that are going to make it, and then there's going to be the obscure offshoots that other people are going to use as well. But, you know, you're right. There's probably not going to be just one main one, but it's definitely going to get slimmed down dramatically, you know, or at least that's how I feel.
Well said. The store of value coins, broadly, Bitcoin, Monero, SIA, Solar, Ethereum, Neo, Dash, Pivot, Steam, etc., store of value coins.
This could be basically any coin out
Every
there.
coin
Really.
needs to be a store of value coin.
That's any HODL coin. For me, I mean, come on. Everybody knows what store of value coin is.
See ya.
It's Bitcoin, baby. It's always Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is a store of value coin. But like, let's just real quick. I will tell you why I find Bitcoin to be the store of value coin. The single deterministic factor of why Bitcoin is the store of value coin for me is because there is no titular head, right? There's no one to attack. It's completely decentralized. It's truly decentralized. So you've got a broad market based on decentralization. They use the term decentralized. I mean, people throw it around like crazy now and make podcasts named after it. But the reality is only one coin can really, truly be super deep dive decentralized. And I believe that's Bitcoin. And the reason is there's no chief executive. There's no head. There's not even a CFO. There's not a CIO. There's not a CMO. There's nobody. It literally is just the community and is just the will of the people, the will of the owners, the interest of the owners. That's it. I mean, I think that was proven by, you know, all the various forks, left and right, up and down. People stay true. BTC4L.
P?
I honestly like Bitcoin as a store of value, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here and go with, I'm not going to necessarily say Neo, but I like proof of stake coins as a store of value because you're getting rewarded for staking your coins. So it's not necessarily, I mean, I'll say Neo because it's one of the more mainstream ones, but I don't know the answer to that for me for a store value because I want to look at 2 things for store value. One, either proof of stake or a masternode coin because it's something you can invest in and reap rewards from your investment a lot like dividends when you store it. So, and unless you're mining Bitcoin, you're not really gaining anything without doing some sort of work where with the proof of stake, you can just sit there and collect your money.
It's a good argument.
But I like Bitcoin.
Hesto, what do you think?
Oh, it's Bitcoin.
But yeah, but give the folks a your breakdown. Why are you choosing Bitcoin?
Because Bitcoin is the only one that has proven over a span of about 9 years that it goes up in price consistently. What else do you need from a store of value? All those other coins, they've come around later, or
Well, I don't know, because gold is the store of gold before Bitcoin. I think gold was the standardized store of value. It goes up and down.
yeah, but we're not talking about gold. We're talking about what cryptocurrency is the store of value.
Well, I just mean the concept of a store of value.
Yeah, I want my store of value to go up, and that's what Bitcoin does. So I just think from all the other ones, it's the only one that has statistically been proven to be a good store of value. As in, you put your money in, and a few years later, it's worth more.
Yeah, or so that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting point. So I don't think it's not always, especially particularly with gold, right? And the same thing now as it translates into digital currency. It's not necessarily that the store of value is worth more, because that's relative to whatever you're exchanging it for, right? So if you're exchanging it for dollars, it might be worth less dollars. If the value of the dollar is, 100-fold, if it's worth less dollars, it could have still gone up in relative value, right? So you had an ounce of gold, it could have bought you, one payment on your Lambo. But if the relative value goes up over time, that's what you're really looking for, the value of the coin, the value against whatever it is that you're trying to exchange it for. And so I think for Bitcoin, the really special thing about it is, much like gold, it has the ability to maintain, even if it goes up and down against the dollar. Well, if the dollar's inflationary, then who gives a fuck, right? You know what I mean? Who cares if the value goes down against the dollar, where the dollar's inflationary? So, I don't care. The dollar inflates, it deflates, it inflates, it deflates, it goes up and down. More recently, in the last 30 years, it goes down, dramatically. So you can buy less and less and less with that same dollar. With Bitcoin, because there's a scarcity, because there's a set and a finite value, 21 million or whatever it is now, 19 million, something like that, right? Its value will always hold itself as something. It'll always be worth something, whereas the dollar could very well, and has proven, many fiat currencies over the course of history have proven to be worth nothing.
Very, very true. Very, very true. Fuck the man.
Agreed.
Fuck the man. Google pictures of Russia and the ruble, and people with literally wheelbarrows filled with rubles. Wheelbarrows filled with rubles. These are old school wheelbarrows, like from old working man days, not like these goofy wheelbarrows that we have today from Lowe's. Filled with stacks of cash of rubles.
People are loaded.
To buy bread. People were trying to buy bread because that damn cash was worth nothing. That's what this is all about. That's what Bitcoin's about. It's about. All right, small transaction coins.
Small transaction coins, I think this one's a tough one, but I'd probably go. I don't think Litecoin's gonna make it. And on our list here, we have Ripple, Nim, Blocks, Litecoin, Pivx, Dash. But I don't think of those. I don't think Litecoin's really gonna outlast them. And I don't really know if I consider Ripple a small transaction coin. Doesn't necessarily have to be small transactions, but I guess it can. Ripple can do those. I would probably say I like Nim's proof of importance, but I might have to say Dash, because they allow you to do the open ledger transactions too, like your boy Linda Coin, but they're faster and it's way more popular. So I don't know. It might be one of those, but honestly, it could be it could be any of the other coins that you see for smart contracts or for store value. It could be Bitcoin for all we know, depending on if the Lightning Network ever really gets off the ground.
Yeah,
So
my coin goes
that's
to
a tough one. That's a tough.
I like Litecoin, but one we haven't talked a whole lot about that was in pretty much every category is Pivx. And I didn't know a whole lot about Pivx before I started kind of researching for this episode. And it's kind of an interesting coin. I'm still not going to pick it though. I mean, it's proof of stake. It's a masternode coin, which is something we've kind of.
You're a big fan of masternodes.
I am a fan of masternodes because it's going to be fast. I mean, it's always going to have, and that's a big thing for small transaction coin is speed. You need that transaction to go through quickly, knock it out, get out of there, and get on to your next purchase. So, I mean, that could be one that would work well here, but I got to stick with my Litecoin. I like it too much for doing basically transactions for platform to platform. I mean, that's what I use, and if it's what
Yeah, I think you both y'all's argument has convinced me unequivocally to pick Bitcoin for my small transaction coin because both of what you noticed. So once the Lightning Network is fully employed, then we're going to have basically the same. A Lightning Network is basically a masternode, right? That's basically what it is. So we'll have super fast, rapid transactions. We'll already have that stored value. It already has the legacy. My small transaction coin is going to be BTC.
No, I think Bitcoin's got a lot of obstacles to overcome. They got a lot of things that need to be fixed in order to do daily transactions, any kind of quick transactions. I don't know just yet, but I mean, if they're successful in all the things they're going to try to do, then maybe.
Predator, tell me a little bit about Lisk, which is our coin focus of the week.
Well, Lisk is basically it makes it easier for companies or developers to create a blockchain for their personal purposes, business purposes. You are able to code it in JavaScript using an API. So, you're not having to worry about, like we talked about earlier with Ethereum and code it in a special language. Most developers know JavaScript. It's an easy, common language that's out there. And they allow you to make a side chain from their primary blockchain for your own use case. Whatever you want to use it for, it's basically like a toolkit with assistance for building your own blockchain.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Is like, say you're a business, and you want to integrate blockchain. You want your own separate blockchain. You don't want to be built off the Ethereum blockchain or anything like that. Lisk has its blockchain, and then it would supply you with a side chain. So it would be your own blockchain separate from their main chain and their side chains. It'd be your own separate blockchain, and they also provide consensus algorithms, back-end like application logic, and front-end application user interface help. So they essentially help a business or whoever wants to have their own blockchain create and run that blockchain. And there's a lot of coins out there that do that. But the fact that you can code it in JavaScript, that's a pretty big one, because that's one of the easiest languages out there to code. So I think it's going to help them.
Yeah, not only that, but it means that if List can get you guys started on a blockchain, like your whatever your company is, and you guys want to implement a blockchain strategy, for whatever reason, a myriad of reasons, you want to give your clients or your customers more security and feeling identifying what it is that you do and how you spend your money and what you do with your assets. They can start that, get it loaded for you, and you've probably already got people on your team, or it's probably more affordable to hire somebody on your team who has a very high understanding of Java, and they can kind of keep it going. So if you get Lisk to get yourself kind of ramped up into the blockchain, you kind of feel like maybe you're left behind in the blockchain space. It's an option that will put you in the right space. And then from then on, there's probably a more affordable maintenance package, something you could probably do yourself.
Yep. One thing I kind of like about them too is they also have this this Lisk app SDK thing where it's a blockchain directory. So the blockchains that are created on their network, you can basically go to this app and see all of them, just like kind of like an app store. So if they have a DApp, you can access it through this little directory. That's pretty user friendly. That's gonna be neat.
Well, they also have Lisk Academy, which is basically a free educational platform where you can learn about the blockchain. I mean,
yeah, it's everything. They basically take so again, same thing. Customer focused, client focused. When your client is a business that doesn't have exposure to blockchain, and when you get involved with Lisk, you put your employees through the Lisk Academy, and then they begin to understand from a very basic level, right? A complete beginner with no knowledge about the blockchain whatsoever. Then anybody who's like new to blockchain, but basically has kind of a small understanding of what it does and how it works. People who are even aspiring cryptocurrency traders, even developers looking to develop on the blockchain within your company. Again, we talked about JavaScript, or even yourself as the entrepreneur or the company owner, right, who has ambitions of either running an ICO or implementing this Lisk blockchain technology into your company process, or even if you're considering implementing blockchain into your business as a direct process so that you can actually put it out there and show it. So really, the Academy lets everybody kind of find out. All the people, I mean, from the very lowest levels of your company to the people in the highest levels of your company, they can go through the Lisk Academy process and learn more about blockchain. Maybe that's the simplest way to say it.
But it looks like the president and CEO of Lisk is a electrical engineering dropout from
Hey, I mean, wasn't Bill Gates a dropout and Steve Jobs?
This is true.
That's probably a good sign, if anything.
He's a young guy. I know how much you love that, Tater.
But what's more important is that it's time for our 3-on-3 fast break. That's where each week we pick 3 coins from the 300 level market cap and we make our pitch for that coin. We're going to give an overview of that coin. We're going to tell you a little bit about the price. We're going to tell you the market cap, the supply, a little bit about what it does and what it does not do. Does it have a potential for the future? You guys got a timer out? I think I'm going to go first.
And you are on the clock.
All right, my coin is Bitqui, Bitqy, Bitqui. Sounds like something you do with your throat when you have a lot of phlegm. It is 0.004148 as of today, Sunday, the 17th of June, 2018. It is up almost 40% over the last 24 hours, which is significant, not only because it's up 40% over the last 24 hours, which is already pretty significant, although not unheard of in the crypto space. The rest of the market right now is actually looking pretty flattish. And probably downish. And I think there's a lot of people who haven't been on Twitter in a long time because maybe they've killed themselves. I don't know. Suicide prevention line, you should contact them if you're having trouble. Market cap 12 million on BitKey. Circulating supply 3 million. Total supply 10 billion. Big total supply, circulating supply 3 million. So about a third, a little less than a third right now out in the market. What is BitKey? It was started in Texas in 2017. It's tradable on CCX, CE Coin, BTC Alpha. It's Blockchain Explorer, Etherscan, and ETHplorer. So many of these mixtures of words are getting to a point where I can't even say them without wanting to vomit. This is like one step past my loathing of Bill Gates. BitKey is BQ, code BQ, when you're looking for it on coinmarketcap.com. What does BitKey do? Who the fuck knows? Their website absolutely tells nothing about it. The YouTube channel, all the analysis of BitKey say it's going to blow up from its current price of 2 cents. If you're paying attention to the beginning of this, those were from September of last year. It is now 0.004. So it is most certainly not blowing up. I don't know what it does. I do know it has a badass symbol of a bull in Texas, and it's pretty cool being from Texas. It's actually from Austin, made in Texas 2017. Literally no more information about this. It is a token. It's available on a quick wallet. Its website basically has generic information about cryptocurrency, why it's on the Ethereum network. Does not tell anything about what it does. It is the alt's recommended token. And you guys have any questions about this awesome coin?
You're out of time, sir.
All right. Prater, Corona Bank.
All right. Chronobank is the website's chronobank.io. They have a market cap of $276,000, circulating supply of 710,000, and a total supply of 710,000. They are currently traded on Livecoin, KuCoin, YoBit, and HitBTC. Chronobank is actually trying to do quite a bit of stuff, but their main focus is in HR recruitment and the finance industries. So they, and it sounds like payroll too. It doesn't really put that in there. I know payroll industry is a pretty big industry because they have labor hour stable coins, which are basically set up with a stable cost to pay people. So it's basically like a payroll coin, to be completely honest with you. And I mean, obviously their they've already reached their total supply. So no, and it's a pretty low total supply. But they basically have the banking feature, the HR feature, and the recruitment feature. They already have an app out, the mobile version, or they have an app for their banking thing that supports all ERC20 tokens, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Ripple, and their Chrono wallet. So, you know, they've got products out there already. They're kind of high. I mean, it's $19 a coin, but there's so few coins, you know, that 19 could be much, much higher in the future. So let's see, what else do we have about them? So they've got their stable token. I think I already talked about that. They have protections from inflation with a stable supply. They have multiple blockchains supported on their blockchain with their Ethereum, Waves, and NIM blockchains. Yeah, I mean, any questions? I've got 30 seconds left.
What is the name of the coin? When you're buying it, what are you buying?
Time. You're buying time.
Buying time.
You're buying time.
Buying time before it crashes.
I mean, it sounds like they're just trying to do a whole bunch of stuff, to be completely honest with you.
That usually scares me into thinking that if they're trying to do so many things, they don't really know what the hell they're doing.
Maybe not. They're getting shit done, though.
Your time is up, sir.
Alrighty, Hesto going last but not least with Ion.
Yep. I'm going to start my timer here. So this week I have Ion or Ionomy. I can't really tell if it's called Ion or Ionomy or both. Their websites, it might be. I mean, it's spelled I-O-N, so I thought it was Ion. Their website's ionomy.com. Their coin is Ion. Their ticker is ION. I don't know. I'm just going to call it Ion. So this coin is also trying to do a bunch of things, but not so many that it seems like they don't have a focus. Their focus is definitely in the gaming industry. So they have a studio where they develop games, mobile games and computer games and things like that. And they use their currency, the Ion, for in-game purchases and subscriptions. So one thing they implement on their platform is, say you have a game and it accepts Ion. Players of that game that want to make in-game purchases get a 50% discount on the purchase if they use Ion as opposed to some fiat currency. So you get a discount for using Ion. What that does is that helps power the network, because for developers, they have this toolbox, which is like a incubator kind of thing, where you can use their toolbox to create games that you've already developed. That add a monetary incentive, like a premium or freemium kind of type of game, where you have in-app purchases and crowdfunding and cash rewards and advertising and gameplay analytics and all kinds of stuff. They have basically a toolbox with all kinds of tools and features that you can use when working on your game. So this is a lot like a lot of other decentralized arenas out there that are trying to take over the entertainment industry. And this one's kind of focused on the gaming industry. So they're basically trying to make it cheaper and faster to do in-game purchases, but it also helps both parties when a player purchases something. It helps the developer and it helps the network speed along. It's also a masternode coin. Prater, I know you'd like that one. Currently, I got about 20 seconds. You got to have about 20,000 Ion to get the masternode, but their ROI right now is about 27%. Means you'd make about $455 a day, or I'm sorry, a month. Currently $414, and I'm out of time. Any questions?
$414 or 414 Ion?
455 Ion, which is $414 a month.
That's incredible. What's the cost of a masternode again?
20,000 Ion, and Ion is at like about 18, I think, or in there.
Damn. Well, it's good if you got 20 grand to put into a cryptocurrency I've never heard of.
Right.
Go for it. Get $400 a month.
Yeah. 5,000 a year, 5,500 a year. Make the money back.
4 years, you'd be back to zero.
Breaking even. Yeah. Hell, but 4 years from there. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as hot on the master nodes.
You gotta find one that's gonna be around for a long time. So I think that about wraps things up for this episode of the D. Guys, be sure to tune in next week. We're going to go over many of the different business use cases for crypto. Check us out and be sure to send comments at D-Talk Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. And we appreciate everybody who's been reaching out so far. We love the Decentralized Talk community. D-Talk on iTunes. Follow us on iHeartRadio, MusicCoin, Spotify. Links to the website in the description below. Stay decent, cryptos.